Hello and welcome to another PlanetDestiny video. In this video, I'm going to be covering my first impressions of the Trials of Osiris. I'll have another video later on today that will cover all the information from the stream reveal and from my own time playing it. It's surprisingly simple once you get in there and play it, but it's super competitive. As far as my first impressions, I enjoyed every minute of it, but that's probably because I was able to communicate with my team. If I wasn't able to communicate, or I was going in with people that I didn't really know, it would have been much more difficult. If you have ever played DayZ or multiplayer in The Last of Us, it has a very similar feel to it. Your heart is pounding every time you engage an enemy. Each game has a kind of cat and mouse feeling to it. You want to take out an enemy, but be sure to cover their resurrection so the enemy team stays at a disadvantage. You always spawn on the same sides, so you have to figure out how the other team is moving around the map to attack you. During the short playtime I had, I noticed our team kept going to the same spots to cover the obvious choke points, so that's something to watch out for when you finally step into the trials yourself. So instead of actually just listing off tips, I'm going to just give a quick rundown of the tournament that we had between all the YouTubers while testing it. My fire team was composed of a Striker Titan, Dado, a Sunsinger Warlock, Mesa Sean, and I was a Gunslinger. So we had a pretty good class composition. Speaking of Sunsingers, they will still be able to take advantage of their Fireborn ability, which gives them a very unique advantage. The first game was against Inkuch, Tetra Ninja, and Enraged Cinema. We were all going in blind here, so we didn't really know what to expect. I started off playing very aggressive and was severely punished for it as a result. You don't want to be pushing too far forward or else you'll get trashed by the enemy team and your own team will be very angry with you for dying in an area where reviving will be difficult. Once we got a couple of rounds under our belt, we noticed that the shotguns didn't really play a huge part here. It was more advantageous to stay back and watch choke points with a sniper or hand cannon. It got pretty close at the end, but we were able to secure a 5-3 victory, which advanced us to play in the next game. Our next opponents were More Console, My Name is Bife, and Eric's Gaming. We started off trading rounds at the start. The other team learned pretty quick that longer range strategies were the key here, and you really only moved into the closer or mid ranges when trying to secure that final kill. It was amazing how the team dynamics actually changed once one person went down. There was an immediate feeling of being pushed back at a disadvantage because now you couldn't cover as many areas. We noticed they kept sending a sniper over to A side, so I would go over and try to counter snipe them. You'll want to avoid moving in predictable patterns though. Our final matchup was actually against Bungie. My hands were shaking as we zoned in against these guys. The first 4 rounds were a complete slaughter on our part. We moved in and never gave them a chance to breathe. We would take one down and then immediately move in when they went in for reses and take them all out at nearly the same time. The tables turned though on the 5th round. I noticed they were moving around A side and I aggressively popped my golden gun and took out 2 members. We had the final opponent cornered and Dado came in for his Titan Smash to finish it off. We were pretty much popping the champagne at this point. Dado was like, "Mom, get the camera!" But then I noticed the countdown timer to tell us that we were won went away. Miss 5000 Watts popped up with a clutch Sunsinger res and revived a teammate while we were still wondering what was happening. It was now a 2v2 and against an active Sunsinger, it was a very quick slaughter. We just sat there staring at the screen wondering what happened. The room was going ballistic. It was basically like Morpheus is fighting Neo from the Matrix. It felt like everyone from Bungie was packed into this tiny little room and all eyes were on us. Sadly, Bungie annihilated us after that. We watched them very quickly close the gap. During the second to last round, we almost had the victory in our hands again. We herded them into Seaside and I started off the fight with a trip mine that took out Miss 5000 Watts quickly. Again, I aggressively moved in with Mesa Sean covering my flank. We took out the remaining 2 and once again, Miss 5000 Watts rose from her pile of ashes and reduced us to a burnt cinder. The final round was heartbreaking. Dado and Mesa Sean got sniped down almost immediately. I was left alone and very scared. I was brought a very swift death at the end of an opponent's Fellwinter's Lie, and the Bungie employees in the room all cheered. Good games were had all around though. I felt bad for letting down the community side, but I was just really happy to have had such an awesome match. Trials of Osiris, just based on that last match against Bungie, is going to be huge. I cannot wait to see you guys picking this up and running tournaments. The esport community as a whole has a new opportunity with this, and I'm hopeful that private matches are coming in the future. In the coming days, I'm going to have more Trials of Osiris coverage and thoughts. Until then, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I look forward to reading your thoughts about the activity as a whole. This has been Patrick Casey with Planet Destiny, your guide to the Destiny universe.